Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar, during which we'll discuss the use cases for ArcGIS in the area of field operations. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eamonn Doyle, and I'm Technology Evangelist with Esri Ireland. I'll be hosting you today and taking you through some of the approaches to using ArcGIS to support your field operations teams. We have a great agenda for you today, and I really hope that you will find it useful and leave with some ideas that you can implement in your own organization. We'll start with a short definition of what we mean by field operations, and then talk about the ArcGIS system and the various capabilities and components of the system that can be used to support field operations, as well as how they work together to enable you or us on your behalf build a comprehensive solution to your field operations needs. We'll talk a little bit about who's using ArcGIS here in Ireland as a field operations platform. And then I want to get into a selection of use cases that I think represent the broad spectrum of how our system is being used to support some different type of field operation requirements. And finally, we'll end with a Q&A session. So this is my definition of field operations software, and it's quite different from how we might define a GIS software package such as ArcGIS. However, ArcGIS has the capabilities to enable field operatives receive, navigate to, progress, report the status of, and complete jobs in the field. If I rewind a little, we noticed some years ago that we were acquiring new customers that were not traditional GIS customers. That is, they were not doing mapping or environmental research or spatial planning or spatial analysis, and they were not doing what you might call traditional GIS data collection, which is what our mobile software at the time was designed to do. Rather, they were dispatching field operatives to complete tasks at specific locations and provide feedback. They wanted to use ArcGIS as an operational tasking system with records of work done, where and by whom, that they could monitor in a BI dashboard. So we began to come up with configurations of ArcGIS and other software that could fulfill these use cases, and that's been rather successful. We now have thousands of mobile worker licenses deployed countrywide. So this is the ArcGIS system in a nutshell. It's designed to create, store, manage, visualize, analyze, report on, and share geographic information. But there's no reason why the subject of that geographic information shouldn't be simply location-based activities that happen in the field, otherwise known as field operations. ArcGIS has a number of applications that are capable individually or in combination of supporting field operatives as they go about their work. These are listed on the slide. And they are ArcGIS Workforce for tasking, ArcGIS Quick Capture for taking rapid observations, ArcGIS Survey 123 for capturing more complex forms-based information, ArcGIS Field Maps for visualizing and capturing map-based geometric and attribute information, ArcGIS for Teams for communication and collaboration, and the ArcGIS Power Platform for integration with Office 365 and other SaaS applications. What do we see as the benefits of using ArcGIS for field operations? Well, the first and most obvious is greater efficiency. Jobs, work orders, customer orders, emergency responses, any assignment really, can be sent to field operatives' mobile apps in real time, along with any necessary supporting material. Field operatives likewise can respond to these assignments in real time through a fully digital collaborative workflow. If field operatives need to capture information, locations, maps, forms, photos, videos in the field, these materials are also captured digitally and transmitted in real time to the back office. This greater efficiency can lead to reduced costs. Adoption of a fully digital, mobile-enabled, location-aware workflow has proven to reduce costs. Quicker response times, reduced need to return to base, optimized routes, and above all, a paperless process all contribute to substantial cost savings. Improved metrics. Our applications are both location and time aware. They report when, where, and by whom all assignments are created, actioned, and completed. They also report the locations of your field operatives and their upcoming jobs so that back office and managers can get real-time common operational pictures of field operations. Data quality. Enabling field operatives to enter information via their mobile apps using custom-designed digital forms with autocomplete, informed calculations, intelligent defaults, bespoke pick lists, and workflow logic as well as location, time, and date stamps, means that using our software, you can greatly improve the quality of data coming from the field into your organization. Better reporting. The metrics collected by our software and the quality of the data means that we can build reports against any dimension of job data that you require. These could be asset condition reports, job time and materials reports, mileage reports, worker productivity, proof of attendance, proof of delivery, or many others. In regards to proof of attendance, our apps lay down a digital footprint of time and location that can be accompanied by photos and signature to provide proof of attendance and proof of delivery. Situational awareness is a unique capability of our applications. Because our field operations software is based on a GIS system, we can provide information from that GIS system to field operatives as they carry out their work. Often this is simply knowing what they might encounter when they get to the job location. This could be what assets are in the ground in the case of utilities, what incidents have been previously reported in the case of public safety organisations, what the terrain and environment are likely to be, and also we can alert field operatives to any risk they might encounter by using geofencing technology. Staff engagement. Staff get frustrated when their time is wasted. Having a modern, efficient, and above all, paperless digital workflow engages staff by making them feel that their time is valued. Our apps are engaging and have a user experience tailored to the needs of field operatives across the many industries that we work with. Customer satisfaction. Customers both recognize and appreciate when they get good service. Simple digital workflow actions, like getting a notification when a field operative is close by, an email when a job is completed, or an asset report following an inspection, can greatly improve customer satisfaction. Health and safety of all workers, but especially field operatives, is paramount. We have observed that most of our customers now include pre-assignment checklists for vehicle checks, traffic management, risk assessment, situational awareness, and others. These are fully supported in our forms-based apps and digital maps. We also support attaching detailed drawings, digital manuals, and step-by-step instructions as attachments to all jobs. Field operatives can be vulnerable when working in harsh terrain or risky environments. Whilst not a full lone worker application, the availability of continuous tracking and status from the field through our apps means that it's possible to keep an eye on your workers and become aware if there might be a problem. Asset management and tracking. Our apps support repeat inspections of singular assets and thus allow an organisation to build up a history over time of asset condition. This enables organisations to understand asset performance, pick up on asset deterioration, and programme proactive maintenance. The examples we will show in a moment all have a certain similarity. Typically, there's a number of common actors. Usually there is a dispatcher that's creating jobs in a jobs layer on the map for field crews to carry out. In our solutions, jobs can be free-floating or can be linked to existing assets or to existing addresses. Usually there's one or more field crews that attend at the location in the jobs layer, and they progress and complete the assigned job using our software. There's usually also a management function that's interested in monitoring progress and reporting. These are just some of the many organizations that are using ArcGIS in their field operations. Their feedback is amazing, and you can find their case studies, testimonials, and customer spotlight videos on our website. I've been helped by a number of organizations that have allowed me to use their data for the demonstrations you're about to see. I'd like to shout out to Dublin City Council, Derry City Council, Tolcha Éireann, ESB Networks, Uisce Éireann, and Gas Networks Ireland. And to note that the contributions they've made do not in any way constitute an endorsement of ArcGIS or Esri Ireland. We worked recently with Dublin City Council on a project to collect information on the location and condition of safety bollards along cycle paths across the city. This project is typical of where an organisation might not have much or much recent information perhaps on its assets and just wants to quickly capture a baseline inventory. We used ArcGIS Quick Capture for this project. Quick capture is ideal when you want to capture data whilst in motion, on foot, on a bike, in a car, or in a boat, etc. The configuration of this app took less than an hour, and Dublin City Council staff then got on their bikes and captured a huge amount of data against a very tight timeline of about 4 weeks. Let's take a look. So here we are in an ArcGIS dashboard, and we're showing the results of the bollard condition survey undertaken by Dublin City Council. You're seeing a map of the Dublin City Council area with all of the data that was collected using the Quick Capture app, and some metrics about the number of segments. These are cycle path segments that they surveyed, the number of individual surveys of bollards that took place, and the number of photographs that were collected for each of the segments. You're also seeing a widget showing the metrics by condition in terms of red, amber, green of the condition of the bollards on the various different segments. And just to underline my point earlier about being against a type timeline, this widget is showing a time series of the data collected. And actually, the crew that undertook this were under a mandate from the city manager to do it in about a month is how long they were given to do all of this. And you can see here that most of the data capture was accomplished during the month of April on various days. Some days, I think this one here is the highest, 120 segments were captured. So this was extremely productive for this team, and they essentially took to it like ducks to water and just went out and got the job done using Quick Capture. I want to zoom in here on the selected item. This is on Sean Moore Road, and I've selected a particular segment. You can see it here in the highlighted color here. And this shows me on this side the photograph that was taken on that segment and the details of that segment. It's an amber condition, average condition reading on Sean Moore Road heading north. And other information such as the date observed. We also collect who made the observation, but obviously I'm not showing that here. Just in terms of the legend, you can see here what the items on the map mean. The blue pins are places where a photograph was taken. The individual bollards, if they were surveyed, come up as amber, green, or red points. And the bollard survey segments, which are the lengths of cycle path, come up as amber, green, and red. I want to zoom in to a particular location here and show you just a little segment that I collected myself yesterday evening. And then I'll show you how I captured this. So if I click here, it'll bring up my bollard survey segment showing that it's condition green, all good, or goose in this case, and also a photograph that I collected whilst in the field. I'm just going to show you a little screen capture of me collecting that segment yesterday evening using the Quick Capture app. So here I have on my iPhone the various ArcGIS mobile apps loaded, and we're going to be using Quick Capture here, which when I click on it opens up with various projects that I have in my account. And the first one there is the bollard field survey, which I'm going to click on. And it's a pretty simple app to use. The idea behind Quick Capture is that it essentially enables people to capture information quickly. So literally by pressing any of these buttons, you record the object that's behind the button with a date stamp, a location, and usually a photograph or a video. So to collect the segment over here, what I do is I press on the collect button up here and it starts recording the linear segment as I walk along the path. At any point as I'm recording that linear segment, I can collect a photograph, one or more photographs, or I could actually stop and collect information about an individual item such as a bollard on the segment. So I've started the collection there now, and I'm just going to fast forward as I walk along the path to a point where I decide I'm going to take the associated picture. So it opens my camera and allows me to take the picture that you saw to record the a visual on an asset condition, for example. I press the yes button to submit that. I put in a bollard count, spurious in this case. And then I carry on my way down the path and I record what I believe to be the condition of that segment and any notes that I have. And I finish my collection. You'll see that I have 2 items now to submit. So I have the segment and the segment photo to submit up on the top. These can be submitted straight away, or you can keep them till the end of the day on the device and then submit them. You can also optionally get a preview of the information you've collected on a digital map. And if you're happy with that, you can send it. And you'll see, sorry, it's up down the bottom there, that all records have now been sent. So that's a really quick and easy example of how you can effectively capture information such as this very, very quickly using quick capture. And it's all reported instantaneously as soon as you hit submit back into the ArcGIS online backend and into a dashboard such as this one, or any dashboard that you want with whatever metrics your organization needs. That's my slides. So we've had the demonstration. So in the last example, we were capturing information about an organization's assets. In this example, it's slightly different. Here we're responding to public requests for service that are coming through a council website. In this case, the service being provided was bulky waste collection service, but the solution is generic and could be applied to any type of field service operation. A factor in this example was that the council had predefined areas in which they served on different days. And they also had a constraint limit on the amount of pickups they could do per area per day. This is also pretty typical of a field service type scenarios, where an organization is allocating jobs to field service operatives in specific areas, subject to their capacity to do those jobs. For this demonstration, we used ArcGIS Survey 123 for the public-facing web form, Microsoft Teams for alerting, messaging, and calendar, and a combination of ArcGIS dashboards and ArcGIS Workforce for tasking, monitoring, and reporting. Let's take a look. So I'm going to start off here with the public-facing component of this solution. So this is the service request form. This is a rather basic service request form. Obviously, you're putting this on your website, you would pretty it up a lot more, but I just want to get the concept across that this form is a public-facing form. It can be repurposed for your specific use case, and it collects the sort of things that you would want a citizen or a customer to put in if they're requesting a service from you. So each job is assigned a unique reference number. You can select the type of service you require. As I mentioned, we were doing bulky waste collection here, but we realized pretty quickly that effectively the workflow is generic. So you could be doing any of these things and the workflow would operate just the same way. So I'm going to select bulky waste and I'm going to give it my name. And I pre-filled some of this information. I'm going to search for an address. Pick this first one here. And as I pick it, the map below changes to drop a pin on the location that I've requested service at. Now, behind this map, we have service areas, which I'll show you a little bit later on in this demonstration. But the system works out based on the pin drop, which service area I'm in. So it works out which day, which is the next day my area is going to be serviced. In this case, it happens to be a Thursday. So the citizen then knows, or the customer knows, okay, I'm likely to get service on the next Thursday. And then they can specify other things, what they want picked up, bulky furniture, large toys or bikes, and we can put a notice about various things that, in this case, we don't accept. If I submit that, that goes into the back end, and we're done with that bit. So we're here in an ArcGIS dashboard. The eagle eyes amongst you might notice that my service request just went from 13 to 14 as the system accepted that latest request, and you'll see it's at the top of my list here. So over here on this side, we have a map, and this map shows the different service areas for this particular service. You can see that they're color coded for the different days, and the different service areas are indicated by a label. So I can switch that layer on and off just to make the map a little bit less cluttered. So what else is on the screen here? We have our list of service requests. So essentially, this is our queue of work that needs to be done. We have a metric showing the number of jobs that have been assigned, completed. There's one cancelled and there's one yet to be assigned, which is the one that I've just put in there. And we're seeing a breakdown if we had different service types of the number of jobs in each service type category. Just bring up my legend again and show you. In this case, my legend is showing what the pins on the map mean, what the roundels mean. So we have unassigned in grey, assigned in a grey roundel, in progress in a green roundel, completed as a green mark, declined as a red, paused or cancelled. So this is the status of various jobs. So this gives us a sort of common operational picture of what's actually going on in the field. Also on this map somewhere, I think you will see the current location of your workers. In this case, I'm the only worker active, so it's showing my location as down here. But if you had various different field crews throughout the country, you would see their locations there. If I click on the last item I've added to the list, which was that request I put in on Limavady Road, you'll see the map zooms to that particular request. And we can look at the details of that as we're added in through the web form that I showed you a moment ago. So you'll see my name. I'm also the administrator in this particular example. You'll see the area in which I'm in, the service day. So all the information essentially that either I put in or the system worked out for me. And the reference numbers, the dates, etc., that the request was received, and various other information there. Now, in order to progress this job and actually have someone go to that location and collect the bulky waste, we're going to use our workforce product, which I'll show you the mobile app in a moment. So the first thing we need to do is we need to actually assign this job to a worker. So I'm going to click on the Update Assignment tab here. And I'm operating on this particular unassigned job, and that's my service reference number. And I'm going to change its status to assigned, and I'm going to give it a critical priority. And I am going to select a worker, which in this case is going to be me. And I'm going to assign a date to go and do that job, which in this case is going to be today. And I'm going to submit that. And as I do, you'll see my roundel here changes from unassigned gray to a gray with a white circle to indicate to me that that is that has now been assigned. Okay, so if you bear with me a second, I'll just bring up the mobile application here on the screen. So here we are on my iPhone, and we have the various ArcGIS applications there on the screen. You can see them. And I'm going to open the Workforce app, which is the one in the lower middle there. And you'll see again, I get a list of the projects that are associated with my account. And I'm going to use the second one here, which is the Request to Service project. So if I click on that on my phone, it opens it up. And initially, my to-do list is empty because the application is designed to work offline. So I need to poll for jobs. It can automatically poll every 15 minutes. In fact, it's just done it there because that was a critical job. So it comes in as a notification. So you see that new job has dropped into my to-do list here. So essentially what you're seeing on this screen is a map-based and list-based to-do list. So it's showing me again where I am in Dublin and where this job is in Limavady. So if I scroll down on the job on my phone, you'll see the location, the job description, bulky waste collection, priority, when it's due, who it's assigned to, and if there were any notes that the dispatcher put on the job or any work instructions that the dispatcher put on the job, you would see them there as well. And down the bottom, you're seeing two link items for directions. So I could, if I didn't know where that location was for the job, I could open up Apple Maps or Google Maps and plan a route to that location, navigate to that location. And likewise, if I was out in the field in the middle of a forest or up a mountain and there was no road network, I could use the compass to find the range and bearing to the job location. So that's often quite useful for field work that's not on the road network. So as a worker in the Field app, which I'm in now, I have the option now to say, okay, I'm actually going to go and do that job. And I can hit the start button to start the job. And that gives me a number of other options. So I could, if I got there, take a photo of myself collecting the bulky waste or attach a document to that indeed. And that would all go back with the status update into the dashboard. I'm not going to do either of those things, and I'm just going to say, assume that I've gone and done that job, and I'm going to hit the finish button here now. That takes it out of my to-do list, but I can also look in my completed list here, and I will see all the jobs that I have completed that have yet to be synchronized with the sync button up at the top of the screen. So I'm just going to synchronize now and send that information back to the back office. You'll see my roundels have turned green on the local map and now turn green on the back office dashboard and also in the list. So if I click on this now, click on it now, you see that I get all the same information back, but now my status is completed. So that's a typical job cycle. Something comes in on the web form, goes into ArcGIS via ArcGIS Online, is actioned by a dispatcher in the back office, goes out to the mobile device, someone goes and does the job, which in this case doesn't involve any ArcGIS components. All they need to do is go out in a truck and pick up the stuff. And then they say they finish the job and they provide any information, proof of delivery or proof of attendance, back with the status back to the back office, and the cycle is complete. Okay. sorry, one more thing on that. Whilst we're doing that, we have Microsoft Teams running in the background. So we're inserting into a shared calendar the times and locations for all those appointments as well. So we're running Power Automate, which is working in concert with ArcGIS to create both Teams messages and calendar entries. So I'll just show you my Teams channel for that here. So here we're getting every time a customer puts in a new request, or every time the dispatcher updates a request, we get a notification in a Teams channel showing me or whoever's party to that Teams channel that something needs to be done, that there's a request coming their way. These could be emails, but I've just chosen in this case to do it via Teams messages. And importantly, we're seeing in the calendar all of the upcoming service requirements, and this helps us balance the different number of requests that we're dealing with per day, because, as I said, in this case, there was a constraint on the number of pickups that could be done per area per day. So our last example is also our most complex, so I'm going to try and go through it relatively slowly. The names have been changed, as has the data, to generic, to make this generic. But this organization was contracted to a large utility company to inspect and service thousands of assets in the field. They needed to bulk load these assets and assess their and use the condition and location information they got from the utility to plan and execute their field work. And where road openings were required, they needed complex work steps with health and safety forms, traffic management, and asset information all to be captured. A particular aspect of this project was also what I referred to earlier as situational awareness. This work involved road openings. So there was civil engineering to be done, there was traffic management to be done, and there was health and safety forms and risk assessments to be undertaken. And a critical part of this was because they were operating on a utility network, when they opened up the roads, they needed to be able to see all other utility assets from other utilities that might be at a location before shovels went into the ground. So there was quite a lot of data involved in this project. We had to get data from various utilities, some of whom I mentioned earlier on in the credits, and also the asset information from the specific utility that was commissioning the work from this company. This is the high-level concept for the solution. It involves work orders streaming in batches from the utility company. These work orders contained all the asset locations and any asset information that the utility company had pertaining to the assets they wanted to be maintained. These all are put into an asset layer on our map. A series of forms are then used to capture information on various aspects of the asset, and these are used to update the information that the utility holds about its assets. So all this information goes back to the commissioning utility with new information about their asset. Then, using the asset locations for spatial context, a dispatcher creates jobs on each asset. The jobs are tasked to field crews using ArcGIS Workforce, and again progressed using a number of forms. The results are monitored and reported via an ArcGIS dashboard. So for this solution, we used a combination of various ArcGIS software, including ArcGIS pipelines to load the data digitally as it came in batches from the utility, Survey 123 for the forms work, ArcGIS Workforce for dispatch and tasking, and ArcGIS dashboards for monitoring and reporting. Let's take a look. So this first map I'm going to show you shows an extent on this particular project. There are about 1,500 assets loaded here. They happen to be hydrants on the water network in this case. And you can see them spread across Newbridge, Kildare, Monasterevin, Naas, etc. And we have various bookmarks on the map just to zoom in and show you the sort of detail that we're dealing with here. So this is Ordnance Survey Prime 2 base map data showing the location of the assets that have been streamed in via ArcGIS pipelines from the utility company. And you can see as we zoom in, we've got the base map, and we've also got hydrants, which are the objects that we need to go and do something with. And we know something about them. They have an asset ID, and they might have some various dates, such as an installation date, etc. But that's pretty much all we know before we start doing our jobs on this project. But I just wanted to give you an idea of the volume of work that was being undertaken here. So with that volume of work, you need a pretty good operational picture of what's going on. So this we're achieving using, as you've seen before, using an ArcGIS dashboard. Here on this particular dashboard, we've got our input queue, which is jobs that have come in from the commissioning utility. And as I said, there's about 1,500 of those in this particular batch. So far, we've assigned 52 of those in this example to workers. We've progressed. 2 of them are in progress, and 13 of them are completed. Now, obviously, this is dummy data, so the figures in the actual project were different from this. This is showing what's in our work queue, which is the same as what's assigned, and what's being, how many gangs are working. And again, this is showing each of the gang leaders and their status. So you can see myself and a number of others here. And again, you can see where I am on the map in relation to the jobs. In this case, I've clustered the jobs just to make the map a little bit less cluttered. But each one of these pins represents an asset that we need to go and survey. Okay, so in order to actually task the workers and the gangs, we're using our ArcGIS Workforce Dispatcher app. So this app shows us similar information to what you were just looking at in the dashboard, but allows us task individuals with going out and surveying or doing whatever work is required on the asset. So I zoom in here somewhere again and pick a particular asset. I'm going to pick this one, A4 FEB1DC. So I can pick that hydrant. So at the moment, what we're looking at is a base map with hydrants on it. We haven't created a job on this asset yet. So we have 2 different layers in this map. One is we have 3. We have the base map layer, which is giving us our locational context. We have the assets from the utility companies, which we've dropped in, which are the blue pins. And then we have a jobs layer where we create assignments that go out to our gangs via workforce. So what I'm going to do here is create an assignment. I'm going to pick an assignment type, and the first type of assignment in this job was to go out and do what we call a walkout survey or an inspection on the asset to assess its condition and score it to decide whether something else needed to be done. And the something else might have involved civils, road openings, etc., disconnection of the hydrant and reconnection of the hydrant, all of which would be subsequent jobs. So I'm just going to do an inspect hydrant job here, and I'm going to assign that again to myself. And I'm going to give it a priority and a date. And I'm just going to put in a description. and create that assignment. Okay, so now you see I get my my roundel on the asset indicating that a job has been assigned on that particular asset and it's at status assigned. Okay. I'm going to go back to my iPhone. And here again, you see my projects listed on the iPhone here. And this time, I'm going to select the second one on the list, which is our hydrant project. And I'm going to do a synchronize at the top just to get my latest jobs. Okay, so still waiting for that to sync. Sometimes this can be slow when you're using a Teams connection at the same time. Okay, we'll go to one of the jobs while I wait for that. So this particular job was there already. I have completed it, so I'm going to reset it. So I get my start button back. So here I'm seeing the details of the job. I'm seeing its location. I'm seeing its priority, due date, assigned to, etc. Now down the bottom here, you'll notice that I've got a number of different options. I still have my directions and my compass options, which do the same as they did before. But in this case, I also have access to a number of other actions. And each one of these actions is a form or a set of forms that I can open to step me through the different work steps that I might be in a complex job. So I'm just going to click on Reconnect form here, and it will load the information that we have about this particular asset and show me a map as a field worker of where that is. So here I've already gone out and done the inspection on the asset. So we have some information. We can see its last inspection date. And remember, we can do repeat inspections, so the inspections queue up. And we can see that we need to reconnect this asset because this hydrant, because it's been disconnected. I'm just going to give it a date. And here we have a checklist of all the different job steps that are in this particular type of job. And we can work through those, each of the job steps, and report back on that to the back office. We can supply a photograph or a signature to say that that's all been done for track and trace. I'm just going to hit yes on that and send now, and that will go back to the back office. Sorry. And I can now say, I forgot to do it obviously, but I can now say finish on that job and hit my synchronize button up here, which seems to be causing me problems at the moment. Nevertheless, we'll let that synchronize and we'll go back to our dashboard. So here now on the dashboard, I get the information about the latest jobs that have been completed. You can see I've got a green roundel on that one. It's at the top of my list. My completed number has changed. So I can click into, so this is the job reference and this is the asset that job is being connected to. So I'll click on this and I will get all of the information about the jobs. This asset has had a number of jobs done on it. You can see it's one of two. So the first job was probably an inspection. Please look, attend that location specified and inspect. And the second job, please attend that location and disconnect. So that's the information about each job. And then if we look at the information that we collected about the asset itself, you can see its location. its address, same information that the field worker saw, and we can look at its inspection log. So this allows for our repeat inspections. We've only got one inspection on this asset, and it shows all the different things that we checked during that inspection. And because this one wasn't selected, that meant that there was some issue with this hydrant, and automatically the form decided that that needed repair, so it needed to go back into the queue, and the comment was, this asset is damaged, please disconnect, replace, and reconnect. And then we go through our disconnection workflow and check all of our things to do with disconnection. And then we go through our reconnection workflow and reconnect the new hydrant into the network. So that was a rather complex one, but in summary, what we're trying to get across is that ArcGIS provides a comprehensive platform that can support many, many different types of field operations. The platform consists of a web-based back office software and several iOS or Android apps for use in the field. And our technology can be purposed to support a wide variety of field operations use cases. And with that, I'm going to pause for questions. Thank you very much.